What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Out of the Darkness. I am Q. So, I've been thinking about a couple things, and this is going to be a lot different than most of my videos, but just taking this minute to think and to mull things over. Before I get into it, number one, I want to welcome you guys to Out of the Darkness. We have now reached 50,000 subscribers. Guys, I'm humbled. Thank you guys so much for supporting us and continue to support us and to watch and to share our content. That's fantastic. In addition to that, we have a very special stream going on tonight. We have some special guests joining us. You're not going to want to miss it. Doug Tenaple will be there. It's going to be a hoot. It'll be a live stream. It'll start at 8 o'clock. We will have the link posted. You will not want to miss it, so definitely make sure you're there. But as I've been thinking a lot, we understand that the left has done a lot to not to get away from teaching history. And the reason being is because those who don't learn from history are doomed to repeat it. We know that that's the case. A lot of similarities can be made between this modern conservative party, or this modern Patriot party, and what we are dealing with today, and the similarities between the civil rights movement in the 60s. Now, guys, I know I'm going to get a lot of heat for this because, how dare I compare the plight of folks that went through the civil rights era. And as I've sat down and I've talked to my grandparents and talked to different folks that lived through that era, I am convinced that we have a lot of similarities. In some ways, dare I say, they might be worse. We're dealing with a situation where if you think differently, if you are bold enough to actually speak differently and leave the plantation of thought, then you will be dealt with ruthlessly. You will be deplatformed. You will be kicked out of groups. Family members might disown you. You can be fired. You can lose your livelihood. Your life can literally be ruined for thinking differently than other people. I think that's a far more evil way of dealing with things than even physical pain. And I'm not saying that either one is okay. I'm just saying we must learn from our forefathers. We must learn from what they dealt with and be better. And we as a country are better. And we need to continue to be better. But being willing to turn your back on people because they think differently is messed up. But guys, I keep telling you, we are winning. We have people who have been strong lefties for many, 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 many years that are working their butts off to ensure that people are dealt with as Americans. The left has gone so far at this point that there are many that have always been very liberal, but this isn't America. People have the right to think the way they want to think. You have the right to be wrong. Even if I think you're wrong, you have that right, and I should be willing to die for your right to be wrong. And I believe that I try to be that way. But guys, we're winning. Trump has been acquitted. They did not want any parts of witnesses. Neither side wanted that. They didn't want to drag it out, but the Democrats didn't want to drag out witnesses because then Trump would have been able to bring in witnesses, and that would have just been a hot mess for them. But, as I thought about, Dr. King and some of those civil rights leaders, Dr. King, they walked across that bridge in Selma. He was no dummy. He knew that they were going to be beaten. He knew that the sheriff meant business, that the town was going to beat the tar out of them simply for marching and demonstrating. He was no idiot, guys. We are dealing with a different form of pain. We're dealing with a different form of abuse, okay? But it's similar in this sense. Dr. King walked across that bridge knowing that he was going to be beaten, but he was willing to walk across that bridge in Selma because he knew the cameras would be rolling. And he knew that the people in the Midwest, the people in Minnesota, Wisconsin, North Dakota, South Dakota, that didn't have to deal with those racial issues, that they were going to be shaken from their seat of complacency and forced and thrust immediately. When they watched that, they were going to be thrust into the battle. They were going to be thrust into the fight, and they were going to have to pick one side or the other. And many of those people, thank God, chose the proper side, and that was to give freedom and give rights and liberties to black people. We are dealing with a similar form of abuse right now. And guys, people are watching, and they are seeing the cancel culture. They are seeing people be sued, people being jailed, people being deplatformed. Our president, for crying out loud, kicked off of Twitter. And some of the most liberal people you would ever imagine, like Angela Merkel and Putin, saying, wait, that's not right. I don't like Donald Trump, but there's a such thing as freedom of expression. Guys, the plan is working. The plan is coming together. It doesn't look like you want it to. You guys want to go in guns blazing, but this is not an issue that can be dealt with physically. Not yet. You have to change hearts and minds. And hearts and minds are being changed. That is the goal. Because what's the point of actions being changed if hearts are not being changed? Because when you change the heart, when hearts are changed, things change forever. So thank you guys so much. Appreciate you guys. I know this is a long video, but make sure you join us. Make sure you share this video, like it, and subscribe. We really appreciate all your support. I look forward to seeing you later on tonight. Good night.